Hello dear students, today we will see worksheet number 3, page number 18 from workbook English Rose. The name of the story is The Merchant and the Olives. And in this play, there are so many characters which are involved. We can see here, the first is rich merchant, the second is a friend of rich merchant, third one is wife of friend, then judge and olive expert. So these many characters are there in this story. And this story is taking place where? In Baghdad. So let us see the story, and before we read the lines from the story, I just want to tell you the summary of the story. So there was a rich man. Before he left his place, or he wanted to visit his relative, that means the uncle, and before he does all these things, he wanted to give his property, especially the gold coins which he possessed, to one of his trusted friend. And then he made a plan, and in the plan we know, he kept all those gold coins in a jar, and on top it was covered with the olives, and then he covered with a lid tightly so that nobody can open it or nothing might be seen. And then he went to his friends to deposit, to give to his friend, and then the friend also readily accepted, since he was already running a shop. So he said, that would be a nice one if he keeps in his shop. And then he was assured that he is going to get back all his olives as he is keeping now. So when he returns, he will get the same thing and in the same place. But a month later, a friend's wife thought of, or she wanted to have some olives, and then friend remembered that he had already some olives in his shop. So he went there, opened the lid. The moment he opened the lid, he saw it was completely filled with olives, and on top those olives were just rotten. So he wanted to have the better one, the fresh one, and then he kept his hand, or put his hand little inside to get the fresh one. And then the moment he drew out his hand from the jar, he found some gold coins. Seeing that, he took out all the gold coins and kept with him. And afterwards, when this merchant returned from his journey, he brought some gifts with him to give to his friend. And thereby he asked him to return the pot that he has given to him. And immediately when he returned to his house, he checked whether the gold coins were there in the pot or not. When he found it was not there, he immediately came to his friend's house and asked him about the gold coins. But then his friend totally denied of seeing whether the gold coins were there or not. And then when he understood that he is not going to get back his gold coins, he went to a judge, told him everything what has happened, and then the judge called for a olive expert who could examine the olive and then tell him exactly whether the olive is of 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months. He can easily tell. And the merchant was asked to bring the pot of the jar of olives with him. And both of them were called, his friend as well as the merchant. And then when the judge understood the real fact, his friend was punished, and then he got back all his, the gold coins. So this is the story. So let us read from page number 18. Long ago in Baghdad, there lived a rich merchant who wanted to visit a relative who lived far away. However, he was worried that he had to shut his business for a few months and leave all his money with someone we could trust. So we know here this rich merchant wanted to visit his relative who lived far away, and before going, he was well aware that he had to shut off his business for a few months, and then whatever he had, especially what you said, the gold coins, that should be given to some person who can be trusted. The clever merchant thought of a plan. So before he could give, or before he gives the jar of olives where the gold coins are kept, he made a plan. And what is that plan? Let us see. Since he dealt in olives, he put all his gold coins in a large jar and covered them with olives. He then tightly shut the lid. The merchant carried the jar to a friend and said, "My brother, you have probably heard that I am going to visit my uncle. I have come to ask you whether you would do me a favor and keep this jar of olives till I come back." So he requested his friend, asking him to keep the jar till he returns from his uncle's house. The friend replied, "Look, this is the key to my shop. Take it and put the jar wherever you like. I promise that you will find it in the same place on your return." And so he assured him that you are going to get, that the merchant is going to get those olives, okay, which he is keeping there in the same place. That means, okay, nobody is going to touch that. So the merchant placed the jar of olives in his friend's shop and started his journey. So he trusted his friend so much that he gave all the gold coins, okay, though it was not merely seen, it was hidden, okay, under the olives. But then, okay, he put his total trust on his friend, and we will see, okay, whether that friend who was trusted, okay, did he keep his promise or not. After a few months, one day his friend's wife wanted to eat olives. The friend thought of a jar of olives in his shop. He opened the lid and took out some of the olives. The olives on top were rotten, so he wanted to check if there were some fresh ones at the bottom. So the moment he opened, we know, okay, he saw only the rotten ones. So he wanted to put his hand little inside to get the fresh one. And the moment he drew out, okay, we know he took out some gold coins. When he put his hand inside the jar, a few gold coins came out along with the olives. The man was very surprised to see the gold coins. He decided to keep the gold coins for himself. The moment he saw all the gold coins, he took out everything and kept with him. Next day, he took all the gold coins from the jar and filled it with fresh olives he had bought from the market. So, in place of the gold coins, he put what? He placed the olives. So, for today, we are going to see after here only. And I ask you to read the chapter at least once or twice so as to understand the text. And if you have any kind of difficulty, you may ask me. Thank you so much.